Welcome to the Ask Donna Advocacy in Action podcast, hosted by Donna J. Jodhan, a world-renowned advocate, author, blogger, sight loss coach, dinner mystery writer, and producer, entrepreneur, law graduate, and podcast commentator. Drawing on her vast experience, Donna is here to guide you through the world of advocacy, showing you how to be an effective and powerful advocate in your everyday life. In this podcast, you'll learn what advocacy truly means, how it's used, why it's essential, who uses it, and when to apply it, whether for simple tasks or major challenges. Advocacy is not for the faint of heart, but is something that everyone can practice. Success comes through persistence, patience, and unwavering commitment. Tune in and discover how to make advocacy part of your daily life.
Hello, and I am Donna J. Jodhan, your host for the Ask Donna Advocacy in Action, August 2025. My goodness, August is here. Summer is almost over, but we still have the month of August to enjoy sweet summer, so why not let us do it? I'd like to thank everyone for continuing to tune into my podcasts, to listen to me, and to read my show notes. And please continue to do so by sending me your emails at donnajodhan@gmail.com or Ask Donna on blindlife@gmail.com. Thank you for your comments, your suggestions, your thoughts, your feedback, your ideas. Thank you very much. And thank you to my little brother in Montreal, Michael, for continuing to walk the walk with me. So I opened this podcast with one of my favorite quotations that I found not too long ago. And it is this: speak in such a way that others love to listen to you. Listen in such a way that others love to speak to you. I love this quotation, and I hope you do too. My Etsy announcement for the month of August, please visit www.etsy.com/shop/blindlybrilliant or go to www.accesspark.shop. I am selling my pottery pieces for many reasons, not just to create sales or make sales. I am doing this because of two special reasons. One, the funds that I raise will go towards my transitioning to a new world mission. And the second reason is this: I lost most of my sight quite some time ago. And in order to keep the memories of the vision of the world that I had up until then, I use pottery to help me create, help me imagine, and to help others do the same. Through my pottery, I'm able to sustain my memories and keep them in my memory bank. All those beautiful colors, all those beautiful objects. And thanks to my pottery instructor, Sean Kelly of Font Bond Ministries and Studio on the Hill, for helping me to keep my memories alive. Okay? All right. So, here we go for the month of August. Advocacy has no color, no shape, no size. Advocacy has no limit, no guarantee, and no expectation. Advocacy can only be successful through hard work and commitment. This is my personal philosophy for advocacy. I have an inspirational message for you for the month of August, and it is this. August arrives as a fresh canvas, inviting you to embrace every day with courage and passion. Okay? Let the lingering warmth of summer remind you that you are full of energy and potential. As you navigate this month, remember that each challenge is a stepping stone towards your dreams. Embrace the opportunities that come your way, and let your inner light shine brighter than ever. Step boldly into August, knowing that you have everything that it takes to make this month truly remarkable. That is my inspirational message for the month of August. Okay? Advocacy in action. What is advocacy in action all about? We start with what is advocacy? Okay? It is the willingness, the motivation, and the commitment to speak up and speak out. Speaking up and speaking out are almost the same. You speak up when something is bothering you, when you want to change something, when you want to do something different. Speaking out is very similar. You want to change the world, or you want to change something around you, or you want to change something within you. Okay? You want to engage with others around you. You want to engage with others far and wide. You want to communicate with them. Okay? And you want to reach out. So you want to engage, you want to communicate, and you want to reach out. Who gets involved in advocacy? Anyone can get involved in advocacy. Anyone of any age. Okay? From the youngest 3-year-old to the oldest 90 plus. From kid, as the Christmas song says, kids from 2 to 92. And this applies to advocacy. Okay? The youngest kid who wants to advocate to his or her parent for something that they wish or they desire. To the preteen who wants to advocate to their peers or their parents or their teachers. To the high school student who wants to do similar things. The college or university students who want to change how things are done on campus and how things could be done better when they exit college and university. To the professional who wants to change things in their workplace, make things better between employees and employers. The unemployed person who wants to advocate for wider and better services so that they can generate a new career. To the mom who wants to advocate on behalf of herself or her children. Dad who wants to do similar things on the football field, the cricket field, the hockey arena, anywhere. The single parent who wants to advocate for their kids and for themselves so that they can have a voice in this rapidly changing world as a single parent. The semi-retiree, who wants to prepare for retirement, but who wants to have certain things in place when they retire. And the retiree, who is now retired, but wants to see certain services in place as a retiree so that they can enjoy their retirement. And the senior, who wants to advocate not just for themselves, or they want to advocate to their families to help them have a better life as a senior. And the person with a disability, a lifelong journey of advocacy as they advocate for themselves, for their fellow persons with disabilities, and they advocate to their families, to the lawmakers, and others around them. Okay? And why is advocacy necessary? Advocacy is necessary to raise issues, to raise awareness, to train, to campaign, to petition, okay, whether it's online or offline. You can campaign online or offline, and you can use social media to help you out, okay? To change existing situations, okay? Very, very important, okay? Change an existing situation, okay? Very, very important. To create something new. So if you don't want to change an existing situation, you want to create something new. And how do you get involved in advocacy? Good question. You can do it on your own, which is what I did when I started out. It's not an easy task. You got to have confidence. You got to feel independence. You got to feel ready to flap your wings and take off if you want to do it on your own. But you can also do it with others, which makes it a lot easier. But then there are challenges when you're doing it with others because you have to work as a team. You can do it with groups or within groups. Again, a lot of teamwork. With agencies. And that brings its own challenges. Agencies for and of persons with disabilities. Remember, there is a difference between agencies for persons with disabilities and agencies of persons with disabilities. Oftentimes, you will find that agencies and organizations for persons with disabilities also have other ulterior motives for getting involved in advocacy. Whereas those agencies those agencies and organizations of persons with disabilities, their motives may be closer related to what you want to advocate for. You can do all of this on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all kinds of different platforms. You can do it through podcasts by interviewing others or by being interviewed by others. And you can do it through blogs and articles and editorials. If you like to write, you could make submissions. You could, ask others to post your blogs, post your articles, post your editorials. A great way to get your thoughts and ideas out there. And through press releases. And like I said, you can do it through interviews and even through roundtables by bringing stakeholders together, being the moderator or being a participant at a round table. Also through conferences, by going to conferences and sharing your ideas and making presentations at conferences. And through town halls, whether they're face-to-face town halls or virtual town halls. You can create your own town hall, or you can be a participant at a town hall. So there's so many different ways as to how you can get involved in advocacy. When do you get involved in advocacy? Well, when it affects you directly, you the individual. When it affects others that you truly care about. When you have a concern or a passion or an interest. Or when you have a dream, you get involved in advocacy. All right? So many things to think about when it comes to advocacy. How do you pick your battle? Well, you've got to think about this. Which one do you think could be most achievable to you? And this is often a very, very tricky question to answer because there's so many variables for you to consider when picking your battle. Which one of the battles that you're contemplating most interests or excites you? Never go into a battle because you just want to go into a battle. Go into a battle with oomph, okay? Go into a battle with a passion, an interest, a dream. Make it your battle. Do not make it a battle because someone else wants you to do it. Do it because you want to do it. And which one satisfies you? Which one you can say at the end of the day, I really am enjoying this battle because I want to win this battle. Okay? Which battle will make you most happy? And you also got to think, try to think of how long is it going to take. Most times you can't really determine how long a battle will take. But get an idea as to how long it would take. When I launched my charter challenge against the Canadian government, oh boy, I had no idea how long it would take. But at the end of the day, I was told by my friends and associates that my battle took a lot less time than normal. It took 6 years. Okay? Think of the amount of resources you're going to need in order to enter into this battle. How much or how many personal resources do you yourself presently possess? What are you going to need, and from whom and from where are you going to get it? Okay? Now to plan your strategy. You've got to do your research from beginning to end. You got to plan your research step by step. Never go into research helter-skelter. Never go into research blindly, as they would say, not knowing what you're going to research. You have to know what you're going to research, where you're going to research it, and how you're going to validate your research. Who do you contact during your research? What method are you going to use? So who do you contact? Do you contact, lawmakers? Do you contact your MPs? Do you contact experts? Who do you contact? Okay? What kind of method are you going to be using? Online? Offline? Going to the library? Using ChatGPT these days? What are you going to use? What type of method? What message are you going to convey? And the follow-up. Very, very, very important. Don't just put a message out there and expect people to read it right away. Oh no, that is not going to happen. You got to follow up with your message. And when I say message, I mean a message that you would put out on social media, or a message to your friends, or a message to whoever you're sending the message to, maybe through an email. Follow up regularly. I would say probably every 2 weeks. Okay? Now I'm going to play a little word game with you, and I want you to think of these words. When do you speak up and when do you stay silent? Advocacy, believe it or not, can also be made up of staying silent. But I don't recommend staying silent all of the time. You got to decide. Is it better to speak up? Is it better to stay silent? You got to think of CYA, covering your ass. Okay? Very, very important. But think of speaking up versus staying silent. Only you can decide that. And the next pair of words I want to run by you is these. Problem or solution. Do you make something a problem or do you have a solution? My philosophy is always come up with a solution to a problem that you have identified. Don't identify a problem and not have a solution. Most people really, really do not appreciate this, and they get very upset when you identify a problem but you don't have a solution. For example, you would say, well, this could be done better. And when you're asked, well, can you do it better? And if so, how so? Well, I don't have time. That is not a solution. That is one of the worst things that you could say in response to someone saying, if you can help with the problem, to solve it. Okay? So think about it. All right. I have 3 stories to share with you for the month of August. Okay? Stories that I have gathered from myself, my own experience, and from others. Here's the first story. Okay? An inaccessible and unusable online complaints system. Very, very common with many Canadian government departments. The complaint system, bless their souls, they think it is accessible and unusable. But when it comes down to the true test, it is not accessible or usable. Okay? This is what happened to several associates of mine, even to myself. The complaint system was not accessible. It was unusable. We went up the ladder by lodging complaints, spoke to people, but eventually it had to be hardcore advocacy to get some of these departments to change their online complaints system. You got to be prepared to fight very hard to have these online complaints systems fixed or dealt with. Okay? Now, Karina wanted to lodge a complaint against an airline because their complaint system was not accessible and it was unusable. She could not complete a medical form for travelers with a disability, and she could not find sighted assistants to help her complete the form. She made several attempts to access the online complaint system, but it was not accessible and it was not usable. And when she said that it was not accessible and not usable, she meant that she could not do it independently and that she could not use her screen reader to do it. She tried calling the help desk of the airline, but no one got back to her, despite promises to do so. So, Karina decided to take matters into her own hands. She wrote a well thought out letter to a television consumer advocate, and she struck gold when the TV advocate contacted her to discuss her case. The TV advocate went to work and contacted the airline. Karina was able to plead her case to the airline, and dialogue took place, all because this television consumer advocate helped her out. What is advocacy in this case? Advocacy is Karina advocating for an airline's complaint system to be more accessible and usable. Okay? And she did this because the medical form was not accessible to her as someone with a disability. Who got involved in advocacy here? Karina and the consumer advocate, and eventually airline officials. Why was advocacy necessary? Because Karina could not independently access and use the medical form, let alone the online complaints form of the airline. And how did she get involved in advocacy? First through letter writing, first through trying to contact airline officials, and then going to the consumer advocate. When did she get involved? When she realized that she could not independently access or use the online forms. Number 2 story for the month. Okay? A travel website that was inaccessible and unusable. Okay? All right. Emmanuel wanted to book a trip to Europe without having to ask for sighted assistance. He did not want to ask his travel agent, and he went on to the website, the travel website, to look for possible trips for himself. And he was asked to enter possible dates for leaving and for returning. Okay? So he was asked to enter possible dates for departure and return. But the date fields were inaccessible, and the error messages that he got were very difficult for him to understand where he was going wrong or what he was doing incorrectly. Emmanuel was very much at a loss as to what he should do. I would be at a loss myself, right? Yeah. What should he do? He did not know who to contact. He did not know what to say. He did not know how to say it. Should he seek advice, but from whom? Okay? Should he go to social media? Okay. Should he go to his federal MP? And these are questions that I am asking you, the listener, to consider on behalf of Emmanuel. Okay? All right, so let's go over the questions again that I'm asking you. Okay? Who should Emmanuel contact? What should Emmanuel say? How should Emmanuel say it? Should he seek advice, but from whom? Should he be going to social media? Should he go to his federal MP? Okay. Advocacy here is all about Emmanuel advocating for his independence when trying to book a trip Who gets involved in advocacy? Emmanuel, of course. And then he has to figure out who else is going to get involved. Why is it necessary? Because Emmanuel wants his independence. Okay? How does he get involved in advocacy? He's going to have to ask others to help him out. He's going to have to contact others to help him out. When does he get involved in advocacy? Right away. If he wants to take his trip and he can't do it, then he has to get involved in advocacy now. And here is the third story of the month. Okay? No help for a wheelchair passenger on a cruise. And here is the story. Gina was promised that she would be given or provided with an accessible room when she booked her cruise. A room that would accommodate her needs and requirements as a wheelchair passenger. Okay? Gina was absolutely horrified when she boarded her ship. She was told that there were no accessible rooms on board the ship. The service desk agents were extremely apologetic, but told her that there was nothing that could be done. They offered to assist her with whatever she needed, but there was no accessible room. So what is this all about? Okay? No. How could this be? All right. She was going to be in very big trouble. What did Gina do? She decided to take her plight to the captain. But the captain was too busy to listen. She then demanded to be let off the ship. But the captain and supervisors absolutely refused. So what do you think Gina could have done? How could she have solved this problem? Very big trouble for poor old Gina. Okay? What is advocacy here? Gina has to, get help. She has to get help, but where does she get the help? Does she try to involve other passengers? Some passengers may not want to get involved, but what could she do? Who gets involved in advocacy? Gina, to start with. But who else with poor Gina? And why is it necessary? Because Gina did not have an accessible room that she was promised before she boarded the ship. How does she get involved in advocacy? This is a very, very difficult task. This is a very true story. And Gina ended up asking a doctor for help. She was very fortunate. What she did is that she went around asking if there was a doctor on board the ship. There were 3 of them, and they came to her aid, and they went with her to the captain, and they managed to get some semblance of service for poor Gina, to save her dignity and save her humility. When to get involved in advocacy? In a situation that there is no way out except for getting someone to help you out. Okay? This was a very difficult story for me to discuss or for me to hear about. I really, really did not like hearing about this story, but it is a true story. Okay. I'm going to end my podcast with a bit of this and a bit of that from my monthly diary. Okay? I've got 10 tips for you. And here are my tips for August 2024. My tips are practical, natural, and logical. Okay? Here's what I learned for this month. Okay? Number 1, about cottage cheese. Cottage cheese contains loads of protein. Yeah. I'm not a fan of cottage cheese, but when I read this, I was quite surprised. Number 2, okay? Number 2. About covering your fingers when slicing cheese. Did you know that if you do not cover your fingers when slicing cheese, your fingers can spread bacteria to your cheese? Yeah. Number 3, about Coke, 7-Up, and ginger ale. Coke contains the most sugar. 7-Up is next. And ginger ale contains the least amount of sugar. Okay. Number 4, how to preserve avocados after you have cut them. Squeeze a bit of lemon juice on them. Okay. Number 5, about bananas, rice, and applesauce. Any of these 3, bananas, rice, or applesauce, can be used to stop a diarrhea. Did you know that? I just learned that. Number 6, a tip about using scented body wash or soap. Scented body wash or soap is much harsher on the skin than unscented body wash or soap. That's it. Number 7, when storing grapes in your fridge, make sure that they remain on the vine. Okay? Because if they wilt and drop off, or if you don't keep them on the vine and they drop off, they wilt and they get soft very quickly. Number 8, what are some of the more difficult odors to get rid of when you're doing your laundry? Smells of sweat, urine, and musty smells. Number 9, all about the benefits of smiling. Each time you smile, you improve your mental health by driving stress away. You also improve the mental health of those around you. And number 10, some helpful tips about water. "75% of persons living in the United States need to drink more water because they are hydrated, okay, or unhydrated, okay. They're chronically dehydrated. You know, 1/3 of persons in the United States have a sensation of thirst, believe it or not. And it is often mistaken for hunger. And this is why the experts say that a glass of water before going to bed would shut down hunger for someone. So even a small amount of dehydration can slow you down. A wee bit of dehydration can slow you down. Okay? For this reason, lack of water is a chronic reason for fatigue during the day. I didn't know that. Number 4 of this is this one. A 2% drop in body water. Okay? A 2% of this can really get you into big trouble. It can get you into trouble with your memory. Fuzzy short-term memory. Okay? With basic math, difficulty with basic math. And trouble focusing on a computer screen or on a printed page. Okay? By the time a person feels thirsty, they have already lost about 1% of their ability to conduct these functions. Okay? That's it for me for this week, folks. I wish you a great rest of the day, a great rest of the week, and a great rest of the month. Take care. Thank you for everything, and we will see you next month. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Ask Donna, Advocacy in Action. Donna truly appreciates your time and support. Remember, your thoughts, comments, and feedback are always welcome. Just send them over to donnajodhan@gmail.com. Remember, together we can keep making a difference. Until next time, stay safe, stay strong, and keep advocating.